a name yet. I usually think of something funny or something practical or a little risque when coming up with them. But why don't you do the honors?
Delilah's a nice name.
No, you big dummy.
I was kidding.
No, you were not. You're sweet, but we can't call it the Delilah Fire.
Okay, what then?
How about my middle name, June?
The June Fire. Even though it's July.
I like it. So there's this creek down the hill, and, you know what my favorite thing to do is?
What's that?
I love to take a bottle of whatever I have on hand, plunge it deep into the water, and let it chill in there all day. And then, on nights like tonight, when it is so disgustingly hot, I have something nice and cool to drink. I learned that from my sister in Santa Fe. She'd do that with a bottle of tequila near her house and make margaritas the size of your head. You'd like it there.
If I was there with you, I'm sure I would like it a lot.
Are you looking at the fire?
No, I'm looking at you.
Oh. Well, let me know when you are.
Okay, I'm looking at it again.
I love how they look at night. During the day, it's just smoke, but when the sun is down, you can just get lost.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Good. I don't talk to the other lookouts as much as I talk to you. Not in the same way. I know it's probably been a while since you've connected with someone the way we have. I don't mean to get all heavy, but it's been really nice. I wish I was over there.
I wish you were too.
We could sit outside. We could talk without these radios. We could, you know.
What? What could we do?
Well, let me tell you. You're going fishing without a license?
It's one fish, and I'm sick of all the stuff I got to eat.
Well, I won't tell anyone you're a poacher. That reminds me, I keep hearing reports from Fish and Game about a problem bear they're trying to keep tabs on. Can you search around the lake for fresh tracks and just let me know what you find? There was a crew burning fire lines out to the east, and, you know, I think sometimes it riles up the wildlife.
Sure, no problem. Remember me fondly.
You were such a drama queen.
Yeah, well, I've seen what they can do to a tree, and trees aren't even food.
Thank you, Henry.
Yeah. Someone left their clipboard out here.
Huh. It could have been one of the Fish and Game folks. See if there's a name or a credential or something. I can call it in.
What the? It's... Holy shit.
What's going on? You didn't actually find a bear, did you?
Someone has written down what we said to each other, have been saying.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't talk to the other lookouts as much as I talk to you, not in the same way.
No way.
Wait, hold on. Something's out here.
Henry, I'm worried. You didn't find and eat any mushrooms, did you? I mean, they can be fun, but also, you know...
I found a walkie-talkie out here, too.
Okay.
It's going shithouse.
Well, Get it if you haven't already, and then we'll figure out whose it is.
Will do.
Henry? Are you there? What happened, Henry?
Holy hell, I got hit in the head. Punched or something by someone.
Are you serious? What the hell is going on out there?
I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Let me get this straight. You found a clipboard with, what, transcripts of our conversations? What else is on it?
I don't know. It's gone, along with the radio of theirs. Somebody out here could have just killed me, Delilah.
What the fuck is going on?
What's Wapiti Station?
I don't know.
I saw the name Wapiti Station right before I was cold-cocked. Does Wapiti Station mean anything to you?
Wapiti Meadow. Maybe it's Wapiti Meadow. It's on our maps. It's not too far from where you are right now. It's where you saw that damn fence. It's north of the lake. It looks like there should be a trail somewhere on the north shore of Jonesy Lake.
I'll start hiking that way now. God damn it, my head.
Are you sure you saw what you saw, Henry? Maybe you pissed off some more campers and they came back to sucker punch you.
Look, I know what I saw. Hey, it was our words with initials for our names, H and D, clear as day.
You haven't been drinking, have you?
No, Jesus.
Okay, I'm sorry, I believe you, but that conversation was from 2 weeks ago.
I know they were. So what's to say that they don't have transcripts from 3, 4, or 5 weeks ago?
Our entire relationship, friendship, our whole summer.
Someone is out here with the walkie-talkie taking notes and talking to God knows who. Look, I could hike over there and look around, but I won't be able to get through the fence.
How do you know?
I already tried months ago when I was out there hiking.
Curiosity got the best of you, huh?
Rightfully so, in hindsight.
Well, shit.
I could spend all day banging on it and see, I guess.
Hey, actually, those guys doing the controlled burn, they might be able to help.
Where are they?
Beyond Ruby River, there's a scout camp. They burned a line a few days ago that should let you hike right to them.
Well, that's great.
If they haven't left, they're probably the type of guys who would help you get through that fence.
I'm wandering around east of the lake. Which way is Ruby River?
It's in the southeast corner of your map. The scout camp where the firefighters were staged should be on your map. It looks like a little triangle with a flat bottom.
Yeah, it looks like a tent.
How did I never see that before?
This is Jared Emerson Johnson. I work for a company called Bay Area Sound. We did a lot of the sound editing and sound recording for the game. A lot of the ambience and a lot of the effects.
And I'm Chris Remo, and you've heard me on commentary before, but on this one I'm speaking in my capacity as, I guess, the audio director on this game, a role that I really did not deserve to have, and basically had to figure out as I was going along. We ended up developing, I think, a pretty close working relationship where we sort of split the sound design duties. It ended up being fairly half and half, probably slanted towards Jared in terms of total work volume.
Although you did you did the entirety of all the implementation, so you were sort of the mastermind of, what we needed and how it should go in the game, and I just kind of took whatever you needed from me and made it. So I was sort of the content horse, and you were the overseer and
Overlord.
the overlord of sound. Yeah. Which was great. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that you were inexperienced, but it was smoother than some projects go, and it was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, and you at one point went and did some field recordings.
The sound in the game kind of breaks down pretty evenly between sound effects, which are the footsteps and the interactive parts of the sound, where the player's interacting with objects and things in the game, and then there's the ambience part. And especially in this game, in any game the ambience is important, but in this game that was sort of really where we started and finished in terms of what the sound needed to be in creating this space. And I actually had several recordings I've been making over the past 10 years or so, various other big outdoor national park locations, stuff from Yosemite and stuff from... I've actually been hiking on the Pacific Crest Trail over the past 10 years, which is a trail that goes all the way from Mexico up to Canada. So it's great. So, I mean, really, all of the ambient sound you're hearing is really coming from real wild spaces up in the mountains.
Yeah, and the ambience, man, I think it took us so long to dial in the approach we wanted to take, both in terms of the source material itself and also the way that it was designed and implemented.
Right.
I feel like we were revising that basically until like the last third of game development. I mean, not even just revising, but I would say like fundamentally changing how it worked. And eventually what's in the game now is sort of 3 layers of ambience that are mixed according to where you are and the needs of the space and so on, plus additional what we called sweeteners of environmental noise, like wildlife and wind rustles and things like that, that can give it some character.
This project was really kind of unique in that way, in its relationship with the ambience, because it was such a key part of creating the atmosphere of it. We've spent a whole lot of time figuring out how we wanted to sort of differentiate each of the individual sections of the park, and also at what point you are in the story, and how the ambience should subtly change. It was probably the most detailed ambience work I've done on, I think, any project I've ever worked on doing this, just because it had to be so specific and subtle, but also evoke really clear tonal feeling across the game.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
There's an old pond out here, not much more than a pile of mud. Do you have it on your map?
Yeah, I know where you are.
Yeah? Where am I?
Pork Pond. There used to be a sign up for it, but, well, folks kept stealing it.
So, is the scout camp anywhere near Pork Pond? Whoa. Someone stripped these snowmobiles down to the bone.
Huh.
And that's weird, right?
I mean, I can come up with a bunch of not weird reasons someone would do that out here, but given what's happened, yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
Camp Arapaho. The bridge to the camp is out.
Damn.
I'm gonna walk the ravine and see if I can find some high ground to get across.
Good plan.
I'm at the camp.
Great. Have a look around. If anyone's still there, they might be able to help.
I'm gonna sound crazy.
Maybe you just ask them to help you get inside the fence. If I didn't know it was out there, they probably don't either.
This place looks dead, but I'll see what I can find. You ever talk to any of the scouts?
No, they haven't been out here in a while, and I generally don't have a lot to say to preteens.
Unless it's Brian Goodwin.
Well, if forced, I mean, I can make conversation with anyone. Plus, it was sort of fun to hear about all of his nerdy hobbies.
I guess these little shelters are where they keep the Weeblos. There are bear traps out here, in the scout shelters.
Scouts are stalwart prey.
That's messed up. Yeah, these guys are gone. I found where they were sitting around before getting picked up.
Damn.
I found a little trowel. Maybe I should take it with me. Use it to pop open beers. Hey, Dee, they left something behind. It's like a memo from their boss.
Did it say anything of note?
Next few days, dropping into the thoroughfare on behalf of Dr. Simmons at Wapiti Station.
Wapiti Station?
Holy crap.
Keep reading.
Oh, I just thought I would maybe, stop there, let the mystery percolate.
My mother always said I would need someone who'd give me a taste of my own medicine.
They're running a research site out there. He was worried about wildfires.
Someone is writing down our conversations. And now we find out there's a research site out here that we don't know about? What are they researching?
Us. They're researching us.
You think they're studying you and me?
I do, yeah. I mean, maybe it's about studying two strangers who talk every day.
Like, if you put someone in isolation with someone else, what they do.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, fuck that.
Agreed.
I think we should allow for the possibility that this is all just a big misunderstanding, but... God, if you saw what you said you did... Fuck, Henry.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. So what's next?
I'm gonna do a scan for supplies and then figure out a way to get back over that ravine and hike towards the site.
Sounds good. Check in when you can, and keep an eye out for anyone following you.
Coming up here on the end, Jacob,
Yes, Sean?
Henry and Delilah are talking, and then there's a clatter, and you realize there's just been an open third line on their conversation. And I remember coming up with this, or something like this, I think in my living room before we had an office in the summer and fall of 2013.
Yeah, the idea that you hear someone like cough over the radio seems like the sort of thing that got us really excited when we were in day zero of talking about making Firewatch.
Yeah, we had another idea back in the lakeside of this day, the beginning of this day, where you would hear your conversation coming out of a radio nearby, but just the way our audio system worked and the peculiarities of trying to get that to work just never really read to the player when people would play it. But we had all these moments. This is sort of like the way we think about the design of a story like this in general, for better or for worse, at least this game, where we would sit down and just pitch each other all these moments that were really disconnected once we had a conceit. Like, there's somebody listening to you on the radio. Like, oh, a guy punches you out. Like, oh, you hear your voice coming from a bush, which we didn't end up using.
You rip your bed apart and find a bug under the mattress.
Oh my God!
Someone was listening in your tower.
Yeah, we were gonna bug the tower.
I think we actually had a bulletin board up in the office full of tiny Post-it notes that were just cool ideas,
cool story things.
And if we could find a place for them, we'd pull them off that and put them on the linear list of like Crit Path events.
Yeah, there's things that we could just sort of like put as little like mile markers in the story, and not knowing how you would get to them. Because you'd play your own way. But if we had enough of those in the story that were surprising, then maybe you, player, would like it.
Are you there? I had a thought.
Let's hear it.
You heard someone in the bushes.
Yeah?
Okay, so let's assume we're being tailed. Or you are, at least. Where are you right now?
Just on my way back, in and out of trees in the middle of nowhere.
Do you see anybody?
No, definitely not.
All right, so tell me what you think of this. Did you just cough?
No. Did you just cough?
No.
Oh,
Fuck.
There isn't any way someone, like another lookout, could be on this line, is there?
No. Not without tapping our radios. Get in your tower, shut the door. Don't leave, and don't use your radio. I'll call you. Understand? I will call you.
Thoroughfare Tower, this is Two Forks calling you for the, 50th time today. The June fire continues to move in a southerly fashion. Delilah, for fuck's sake, answer your radio.
Hello, sunshine. Sorry, went out for a little bit. What can I do you for?
I didn't sleep a wink last night, and I've been going crazy for the past 6 hours of sunup. How are you so chipper?
Well, it's a new day. What a day, this day we've been given.
Maybe I am actually asleep right now. Maybe I didn't stay up all night knowing that someone is...
I actually slept just great.
Okay.
By the way, I was wondering if your Flora of the Shoshone info poster was still up inside your tower?
What?
It's just protocol that those stay up. You know, info about your tower, the surrounding tree species, etc.
All right.
Just, you know, have a look at it. Make sure it's in ship shape.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Jake.
Good to see you on this
I know.
commentary.
It's been a little while.
So earlier, in a long time through Firewatch's development, the way that Day 76 used to end was with Delilah just basically freaking out. She and Henry got that call from Goodwin and just basically said, "Oh shit," and it ended on an ambiguous panic. It turned out that actually put people in the situation you are in now at the start of Day 77, not knowing what to do. Like, we cut in with Henry at his desk sitting there, and everyone who played the game sort of thought, why is Henry just sitting at his desk when the last thing that happened was a huge freak out? And we rewrote it to be what you're seeing here, where Delilah actually says at the end of the day, sit where you are, don't do anything, wait for me to call. And then when it cuts and Henry's sitting in his chair, it makes sense. And I know that sounds completely obvious and maybe even dumb, that we did not initially have Delilah tell you to do what we then depict you doing.
Well, I think one of the reasons is because so much... This speaks to one of the biggest challenges, honestly, in designing the narrative for this game, which is a first-person game that also skips time. Mm-hmm. You know, in a movie, when a movie skips time, you can have the characters have done all sorts of things, and the viewer can catch up on that later, and there's tension and not knowing what happened in the missing time. You can't really have that stuff get filled in for the player character because you are that character.
Yeah,
and
even if there's cinematic cut time, your motivation as a player is a continuous line across the game, and obviously doesn't have a time skip unless you, the player, save,
Exactly.
walk away, and come back.
Yeah.
Realizing that we had to write Delilah to bridge that moment, it was a really good concrete example that stuck out to me of sort of how the story and your expectation as a player and your sort of motivation to keep going have to line up as well as they do.
This scene was another big challenge because that whole chain of her getting you to Cottonwood Creek by way of this sort of ruse that she sets up, there were a lot of players we found who figured out what she was getting at before you actually went through all the little steps and immediately said, "Oh,
Cottonwood Creek," and they left. And then Delilah's like, "Tell me when you see the thing on the poster."
Yeah.
And then
Yet another big challenge of how to sync up player intention and awareness with character intention and awareness. Really big challenge in this game overall.
Anyway, look at that poster.
Okay, yeah, it's up. Why are you acting like this?
Great. Just wonderful. Do you see the tree in the top row, second from the left?
Sure. It's the,
No. You don't need to tell me. Just, internalize it. It's a great tree. And there's an area called, that tree's name in your sector that maybe you should take a midday hike to. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe I should go for a hike.
Nothing like an afternoon in the Rockies, I tell ya. Radio me the moment you get there.
Which tree am I supposed to internalize again?
Top row, second from the left. Head to a place named after that tree, and you'll have a wonderful afternoon.
Whoa, the June fire isn't going anywhere, huh?
No, that's why those guys came out to burn that line. It's at the stage where all we can do is pay attention to it.
They're not gonna try to put it out?
Not yet, apparently.
Hello, my name is Cable Sasser. I am the co-founder of a company called Panic here in sunny Portland, Oregon. With me is
Stephen Frank. I'm the other co-founder of Panic. And what are we doing here by this snowmobile?
Why are we by a snowmobile, Steve? You see, the Snowbro logo on the snowmobile is our one content contribution to the game of Firewatch. Jake asked me to design that logo, and I did. And I think we can safely say this game would not have shipped if it weren't for that logo. That's not true at all. I'm very sorry. Steve, what is Panic?
Well, Panic is a company that makes Mac software that we started back in 1997 or so. And of course, recently we've done iPad and iPhone software as well.
Sure.
And we were approached by Camposanto to see if we wanted to fund a video game. So how exactly did we get involved in that?
Good question. We made one of the first MP3 playing apps for the Mac called Audion. And as was the style at the time, being the late 90s, you could make your own skins or interfaces for it. One guy made some really cool skins, and his name was Jake Rodkin. And Jake Rodkin, of course, went on to Telltale Games. We kept in touch with him. Him and Sean Vanneman left to try to make their own game. They came to us. We said, I think we have a little bit of money in the bank. We can maybe help you out with this. And it worked. We're here, and we made this game that you're in right now. Our contribution was primarily financial, but we also put on a really cool event for GDC, which was this super themed, we got to pretend that we were Imagineers kind of thing. We did some QA, we sort of were sounding board on ideas, and we also did Photodome. It was an incredible experience for us to get a taste of what it was like to make a game through these guys, and we've always been curious about that world. And it turns out the gaming market is kind of awesome, and a lot of people play video games, probably way more than buy professional Mac utility software. And games affect people in ways that our current software doesn't affect people. You know, you get fan art, you get these incredibly emotional fan letters about how this game touched people. It was been incredibly rewarding for us to work on this thing. So that leads to my next question, Steve. Would you do this again?
Oh, absolutely. I want to see what the sequel to Firewatch is. It's going to be a snowmobile racer, probably.
Yeah, I think you do trick jumps.
Henry versus Delilah.
Oh my God. And Sonic. Can we throw Sonic in there too?
Gotta have Sonic.
And Cream the Rabbit.
Yeah.
I'll cut that part.
Okay.
Thank you for playing Firewatch. We are happy to have been a part of this game. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed being a part of making it.
Thank you.
Good night.
Totaled snowmobiles out here. Looks like someone stripped them of a bunch of parts.
Huh.
And that's weird, right?
I mean, I can come up with a bunch of not weird reasons someone would do that out here, but given what's happened, yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
Sean here. Hey, Jake.
Hey, Sean. The hike to Cottonwood Creek,
The one you are ostensibly on right now.
it is a thing that changed a couple of times in the game, and it was actually one of the bigger spatial changes that we made over the course of Firewatch. The place called Cottonwood Creek on the map is now in, like, due south of the middle of the map, but it actually used to be north of the lake. If you ever head over there, you'll notice there's a lot of cottonwood trees there. There's cottonwood trees in both places.
It was originally where we ended up with it, though. It started where we are now.
And then we had a crisis of conscience somewhere in the middle of the game, and what is actually walking around in Firewatch fun? Should we condense everything
Is
down?
the core mechanic of the game fun? Oh no, hedge.
You hit a point in development sometimes where you question these things, and we said, is this going to be too big of a deal? Do we want to put Cottonwood Creek right next to the research site? And we did it, and it was still pretty good, but I think as all the pieces laid out into the game, once the music started coming in, once a lot of the sort of incidental, ancillary conversations started coming in, we were able to sort of breathe a big sigh of relief and go, oh, it is all the stuff, all of these parts seem to be working. And then we went, all those parts are working, and we made Cottonwood Creek like 3 inches away from the research site gate. Put it back, and it was a pretty quick change to put it back.
Yeah,
but
it was very quick to put back, but I had a panic attack because I realized that having everything so condensed when Cottonwood Creek was over by the lake just totally hamstrung my ability to get in some of the dialogue that happens here. And I think this stuff's actually really important to the story and the character development of these two people. And I think with like 10 weeks left in development, maybe even less, it was a very short runway, I went to Jane and Jake and I was like, I think we have to move Cottonwood Creek back. And then beads of sweat appeared, and then they thought about it for a second and went, yeah, okay, I think it's not going to be that big of a deal. Because I had already been like, it's not going to be that big of a deal. We can just... And it was fine.
It turns out that what it took was me literally picking up the cash box by the lake and the cash box by Cottonwood Creek and doing like the little magician like shell game swap, and then I changed the labels on the map.
And it worked.
I'm here at Cottonwood Creek.
You see the cash box there?
It must be around here somewhere.
It is. Find it and open it. I changed the code. It's 5678.
Are you kidding me?
I was in a rush.
Hey, it's Sean.
Hey, it's Chris. Here in this Cottonwood Creek area where you have to get the new walkie-talkie that Delilah has planted for you or had planted for you, it is possible to just never pick it up in the first place, go straight over to the research site. And that's in part because it's in a game like this where we aren't constraining your movement. There isn't really anything we can do to force the player to walk to a certain place and do a certain thing before going to a different place. We would have to put up some kind of infinite wall or something between you and the research site to stop you just going straight there. And we didn't really want to do that. We thought about it, and we really could not think of a good reason to do so.
Which then meant that the entire research site scene had to be written, had to be bifurcated, and then written to support the new radio versus not having the new radio. And that was really hard. And then had to be like logically programmed to support both those things. And the way a lot of the branching sort of dialogue stuff works in a game like this, it's not like a choose your own adventure where you go to a different chapter. It's really, the game is looking line by line through the hundreds of lines that it takes for the characters to communicate their stuff while in the research site. It's going line by line and playing the truest one. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the lines are shared across has new radio versus doesn't have new radio state. It's jumping in between ideas that both hit upon and changing Delilah's response most of the time. And playing through that and finding those spots and writing with that level of detail and branching is really hard. And we would probably find a new way to do it in the future.
Maybe, yeah. No, it's hard to say. We tried hard to think of a way around it, and we really couldn't. And it affected everything. It affected writing. Here's a weird one. It affected music, because if you go all the way to the research site without getting the new radio, typically when you have the new radio and you go into the research site, there's this music that kicks in. What if you go to the research site without getting the new radio, not because you were intending to skip that part of the game, but because you just wanted to go check it out, to doing the video game exhaustive thing of like, I'm going to check every place before I do the thing, but I'm going to go back and get the radio and then do it. How do we read your intent? How do we as the designers know I'm intending to skip that part of the game, I'm not intending? Do I start the music cue? Do I not? There were a lot of different areas where we had to just take our best guess basically about, well, if this and this and this, but not that, like, we think this is what the player means to do, and we're going to support that. And that was just something that we constantly had to live with throughout development.